Hey everybody, it's Alex here, aka YaBonks, and on today's episode of the YaBonks Show, I have a very special guest and a good friend of mine, Drew Wolfer from Wolfer Finance. He's also the founder of Presend, which I did an AMA with him about a year and a half ago on this channel. Check it out if you haven't already. And this is the long-awaited Wolfer Finance AMA. So many of you have asked me to do an AMA with Drew about Wolfer Finance. We're finally making it happen. And Wolfer Finance is a Web 2 and Web 3 conglomerate that specializes in tokenizing real-world assets and managing them on the blockchain, as well as managing real-world businesses in a very unique way that is focused on regulatory compliance with the SEC and other agencies. I know that's a lot to take in at first. So, Drew, do you want to say hi to the audience and introduce yourself?
Yeah, man. Well, first, before I even introduce myself, I got to give a shout out to Alex. I appreciate him. Everybody here knows him as YaBonks. I know him as Alex. And this is actually a picture of me and Alex in Dubai in front of the Burj Khalifa. So I just wanted to show everybody that. That was really fun. That was an awesome time. I remember him filming his videos and he said he felt like Crocodile Dundee going to the big city because he hadn't been to a big city like that. And man, I appreciate you a lot, man. You've done a lot for me. You've done a lot for the crypto community. You do a lot for your, man, like you do a lot in real life. You know, you run the animal sanctuary. You do a lot for your subscribers, all of your fans. You do a lot for a lot of people. I remember this guy, and you're going to laugh at this. I remember that when we were at the Dubai World Blockchain Summit, I was the keynote speaker, but I also had to do the pitch competition. It was the day before it all started. Alex was the only person that was there with me because he was like, oh, let's go check out the summit. And I was like, well, actually, I got to do a pitch anyway. So I was pitching Presend. He recorded the pitch and then we lost it. There was no audio. And so we had to track somebody else down that gave us the audio, but it was all good. I just appreciated the fact that he was even there and that he was willing to do that. So, man, much love, much appreciation to you for everything that you do.
Thanks,
if anybody doesn't know who I am, man, I'm Drew Wolfer. I have my own YouTube channel. I came up doing like basically calling out scams and stuff like that. And I called out all the fake nodes and stuff like that. And everybody was like, well, hey, man, you keep telling us what's wrong with all these things, but what's right? You know, like do something. Then if you think that you can do it better, then do it better. And I was like, it's actually kind of a good idea. So that's exactly what I did. And I created Wolfer Finance and we started a blockchain infrastructure company that essentially hosts master and validator nodes, real nodes like Ethereum, Avalanche, Flux, FTM. And we started a company that does that. And so here we are 2 years later and we're still running, we're still kicking. And I'm right back here with my boy on the YaBonks Show. So I'm glad to be here, man.
Hey, man, glad you're here. That I was thinking of digging up our Dubai pictures too. I'm so glad you had that ready. We have so many awesome pictures from those adventures, like dune buggying through the desert, all of our crazy adventures, man. That was so much fun. And yeah, thanks for all the kind words also. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I actually started out on YouTube watching folks like yourself and our mutual friend James Pelton. And you guys have helped me out a lot in growing my channel and showing me the ropes of how to do this YouTube thing over the last 3 years. So yeah, tons of gratitude for you, man. Now, before we get a little too off track, all right, let's reel it in a little bit. And for those who don't know yet, what is Wolfer Finance? Can you give me an elevator pitch or a high-level overview of what Wolfer Finance is?
100%. So it's essentially just a Web3 blockchain infrastructure company that essentially what we do is we run and we host master and validator nodes. Now, a lot of people might not understand what that really means. And I'll hit you with one question, right? Do you understand what real estate is? Okay. Because that's all that master and validator nodes are. They're just on the blockchain. They're very similar to an on-chain real estate company. And what I mean by that, and I can explain it in about 30 seconds, your master node, you have to collateralize. Say you want an Ethereum validator node, costs about $120,000 at current price. You have to have 32 ETH and you have to collateralize it, right? So what you do is you tie that ETH up and you collateralize it. It's like your down payment on your house. Your server then hosts the node and its software, and then also stores the blockchain data. That's like your house that is storing your tenant and all of their property, right? Your tenant is the blockchain, Ethereum, and your rent that you get back from your tenant is the validations that come through in the form of gas fees. It's literally that simple. There's a secondary portion to the blockchain for proof of work. Now, we do a lot of validators, which is proof of stake, but we do have proof of work chains, which is Flux. And that is actually a chain that has master nodes. And then it also has miners. And the miners algorithmically solve the mathematical equations and then send it off to the master nodes to be stored. So what we're also trying to do is potentially scale into a very low cost flare gas, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Doge, whatever coins it may be at the time, mining operation in our future. And that's essentially what Wolfer Finance does and is. And we've also come out with subsidiary companies, one subsidiary company, which is a dually patent pending crypto transaction security software, which, you know, some people have probably heard of, which is Presend. And we're going to continue trying to build our infrastructure and businesses out and bring out more subsidiaries in our future. And then obviously scale our master nodes, validator nodes, and our blockchain infrastructure portfolio.
That is a lot going on. And yeah, so for those who might not understand what master or validator nodes are, and that was a great analogy, by the way. Basically, they're very expensive things that you can buy that earn you more crypto. In like the simplest sense, if you want to be super like basic about it, if you have the funds, you can basically put your funds to work to make you additional crypto. And it's probably in the crypto world the furthest thing from a crypto scam could be, because you'll hear staking and yielding dApps and projects that are fly-by-night money grabs sometimes. But when it comes to staking your crypto for nodes, that is literally providing the infrastructure to run the blockchain itself. And that is built into the technology. That's how these blockchains operate for proof of stake, like Ethereum, like Flux, like FTM, like Avalanche, all these very popular crypto technologies. So most people cannot afford to get a master or validator node. And I can't. I mean, I'm doing pretty well, but I can't, right? Like, that's a huge expense. So it's kind of cool that Wolfer Finance has used the power of community, essentially, to acquire these assets and make the rewards then available to the participants at the retail level.
Yeah, man. 100K plus to get an ETH node, just one. 100K plus to get one Avalanche node. 100K plus to get one 500,000 coin stake FTM node. I believe it's probably almost 50 to 75,000 depending on the price to get one Flux node. So combine all of that, right? You're at a $500,000 portfolio to just own one of each, right? When we have multiple ETH, we have multiple Flux, we have a massive AVAX validator, we have a massive FTM validator. If you wanted to basically copy the diversification in our portfolio, you need multiple millions of dollars. Plus, we got them at prices that you can't get them at anymore. We got ETH at 1,100. We got Flux at 45 cents. We got Avalanche at $15, and we got FTM at 23 cents. So good luck ever getting those prices again.
Yeah, that was a great entry point for all of those. Like, really incredible, especially going into this next bull run. So yeah, I mean, and if I had the money to get myself an Ethereum validator node, even, like, I would not be diversified. I might be putting my entire life savings into one asset. And that's crazy. Very risky. So it's cool that you've come up with a diversified portfolio of these nodes for people to have some kind of a stake in themselves. Do you have any important news, dates, or announcements you want to make before we get into the nitty gritty?
100%, man. I'm hoping that this drops on the day. And if it does, It is hashtag Friday Pie Day. If you've ever watched my channel, you know what day that is. Hashtag Friday Pie Day, baby. I'll even get out of the way so you can see the pie.
Yeah.
Well, on hashtag Friday Pie Day, May 24th, we are actually opening our crowdfund token sale for Wolfer Finance, your ability to get in and own our digital security token that is issued on the Polygon blockchain that you can hold in your Web3 wallet of choice, so long as it is compatible with, Polygon. You can't hold it in a Bitcoin wallet, but you see where I'm going with it. That is what is happening right now, and that is how you can get in. We'll talk about a little bit more about how you can get in very soon, and we'll show you even where to do it.
All right, very cool. So May 24th, Friday Pi Day, the crowdfunding offering is going live, and it's a tokenized RegC offering, which is something I've never heard of before. I've interviewed hundreds of companies in the crypto space, in the finance sector, and I've never heard of somebody actually pulling off a tokenized digital security through a RegC. So that's very unique. And I have worked with companies doing RegC crowdfunding campaigns. I've interviewed them on my channel, but they usually offer private shares in their company. This is different than that, though. You're actually going to get tokenized digital security equivalents, apparently, that you hold in your wallet, like in your MetaMask wallet on the Polygon network. That's super cool, man.
Yeah.
So
we like to do stuff that nobody thinks you can do, right? We like to be the first ones, right? We were pretty much the first company, at least in the entire world, that we knew of at the time, that collateralized and did this with the big blockchains that everybody wanted. I don't know if I could name a person, go out and find a person, line up 1,000 crypto people that you know, ask every single one of them, hey, would you like to have an ETH validator node? If money was not an issue, would you like to have an ETH validator node? Every single one of them would say, yeah.
Load them
what
up,
about Avalanche? Right? And they'd probably say, yeah. Wouldn't you like to have a Flux node? Yeah, of course. Wouldn't you like to have a mining operation that has like low cost on through flare gas on mining? And they'd be like, yeah. Well, okay, but that cost me hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we were actually pretty much the first company in the entire world that started doing this and allowed like unaccredited investors and people to get in on it, right? So to benefit from that exposure. So that's the good news. And the digital security token itself is like, it's like the next generation of physical shares in a company, except for it's digital and you can move it and do whatever you want with it, and put it in whatever wallet you want and stuff like that. And that's the cool thing about it that I think is really unique, is that we're one of the first and only companies in the entire world that has ever issued a digital security token. And it's because the partner platform that we have, they're one of the only people in the world that can technically do it. You have to have like certain like licenses and things of that sort in order to be able to facilitate these things. And luckily they have those for us. And we have kind of set a new standard in the space. I think that it's abundantly clear where the space is going. And I'd rather be ahead of it rather than behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so cool. I know you are very particular about legal and regulatory compliance issues with this stuff. As long as I've known you, actually, since you started your companies in the crypto space, you've been a big stickler about trying to make everything work with regulatory agencies for longevity. I mean, I even have to jump through hoops just to work with you and fill out forms and paperwork and all sorts of things. And I know how much you spend on legal fees and everything to make sure things are done correctly. And that's something that honestly you don't see all too often out here in our space.
100%, man. It's a rigmarole. I call it a rigmarole. I try to throw it. That's like one of my favorite words. I try to throw it into every interview. It's a really tough thing to try to get through. And you know what? There's a lot of people, and some of you may even be watching this video. And for that, I appreciate you. I love my haters. I love my people that support me. I love all of you. every single one of you is the exact same, right? I love that. I love the fact that you're here, and I appreciate you, whether you hate me or love me, whether you like my braids or whether you hate them, right? So there was a lot of people that thought, oh, there's no way that they're going to be able to do this. There's a lot of things that they thought we weren't ever going to be able to do. And I actually thoroughly and humbly appreciate the ability to prove all of those people wrong. So yeah, here's to you all.
Well, that is one of the reasons I did want to bring you on my channel, because I'm in a lot of these crypto communities, and I remember people saying, "Oh, there's no way he's going to pull it off with the SEC stuff." And you just kept saying, "Hey, it's taking some time. It's a little more involved than we anticipated, but we're going to push through." And it's super cool to see that that it does appear that it's moving forward and rewards have been paid out, and things like that. So for folks who are in some of these crypto groups with me who don't know yet, you have through Wolfer started paying out the rewards to the early participants, and now you guys are going forward with a tokenized digital security through a RegC offering, which is just super cool. I mean,
100%.
that is, honestly, I've been doing this a while, guys. That is revolutionary. Like I said, I've interviewed hundreds of companies out here. I haven't heard of anybody pulling that off yet. So that is really exciting news. Whether you love Drew or hate Drew or whatever, he stuck with it, and he's pulling it off. So
Yeah. We're always going to, like, that's the thing, man. I'm going to go to war for the people that chose to be here with me. If you're a part of my family, I will live and die by you. I promise. I guarantee you that. That is one thing that you will never see me do, is tuck tail and run. I will never run from a fight. And that's what this is like, almost like a public service announcement that I give to people. When you are investing in companies, you're investing in people. Companies are just people. People have to run those companies. They're not robots. Doesn't matter how good their idea is or how terrible their idea is. If they cannot execute and they do not have the right mentality, they do not need to be leading you, because most likely they are not fit to lead you. So I leave you with this, right? If you can look that person in the eye, and I'll take my glasses off for this, for my blue light glasses, right? If you can't look that person in the eye and unequivocally know that that person is going to go out and go to war for you and lead you out into the battlefield instead of sitting on the sidelines or tucking tail and running, then you probably shouldn't be giving them your money. That's my opinion on it. That's my take on it. And one thing I can say is that I will absolutely, and I have, and I've proven it, I will go to war for all of my people that choose to be here and all of my companies.
Well, I like the confidence, Drew. You've always been very straightforward with me over the last, I don't know, like three years that I've known you, from YouTube alone, and then now in business and everything. So you've always been very straightforward with me, and yeah, I'm glad to see you fighting and pushing forward with this, because there are a lot of people, like the early Wolfer Finance members and stuff, that have put a lot of faith and trust in you to lead this company. So I'm glad to hear that it's happening, man. You're doing it. So
yeah.
cool.
And anybody that wants to check it out, like, there's only, so I told Alex this, and he knew this in the first place. There's certain things I can talk about and certain things I can't talk about. The way that regulated offerings allow you to market, you can either talk about the terms of the offering, or you can talk about the company and the way that it does its business and generates revenue and things of that sort, but you can't talk about both of them at the same time. We chose to talk about the company, obviously, because we want people to know what it is that their opportunity is. And then we can tell you where to go and find the rest of the information, namely on the offering page. Secondarily, I want to give everybody this kind of tidbit. I have tracked and been transparent about literally everything since day one. You can go to the Wolfer Finance website. All of our wallets are on there. You can go and click on our nodes and see how long they have been hosted on our treasury page. Literally, look, click on that ETH validator right there. Click on that wallet address. Boom, it's going to pop up an ETH validator. Bam, you're going to see it. And you can even go and check and see who funded that validator, and it'll show you their blockchain wallet address, and it'll say 7990, which is the Wolfer Finance treasury wallet, and it's called wolferfinance.eth. So here's my point. You can check our AVAX validator. You can go and check our FTM validator. You can check all of our Flux nodes. They're all listed right there. You can literally click on any single one of them and you can see everything that we have. Okay. And if you go back up, you can also see that at the treasury tab, it's got wallets. Like if you go all the way up to the top, not that wallet, that's our treasury wallet. But if you go even further back up to the top where it says treasury and you go to wallets, it'll show you every single wallet that we have all the way down to our contract addresses, everything. And it's literally all tracked there. Now, the third thing I wanted to kind of point out to people is that on the treasury page that Alex was just on, there is also literally an Excel spreadsheet that tracks every single thing. It literally says it right there at the top. Download now. It tracks it from inception, everything. There is nothing here that I have left up to chance that people cannot see. Okay. So if you're whatever it is that you're looking at, if they're not providing these level of details, and I mean, you can go and check out, we have audited financials for 2022, 2023. Every single year from here on out, we will have audited financials because we're bringing a RegC, right? And so this is my point. There's not a lot of guesswork in like what's going on because we show it to you, is my point. So that's like one of the best things, in my opinion. One of the coolest things about Wolfer is that we are very transparent about the things that we do. And we want everybody to be in the know and understand what is going on behind the scenes, where we're trying to go, what we're doing at the time. And, obviously see where all of the money goes, see all of our nodes and see if they're doing well and track all of the income that comes in off of them, the historical prices, things of that sort. So, yeah.
I love it. I love transparency. I'm a stickler for due diligence and doing my own research and transparency. So, working with you makes my life easier compared to some of these other companies that approach me to come onto my YouTube channel. And I'm like, who are you? Like, I don't even know who you are. You're hiding behind a cartoon character and a fake name, and there's no accountability. So I do
100%.
appreciate that you put your name and reputation on the line while you're doing business, just like I do. And it does instill extra confidence because you know who's steering the ship. Now, I really wanted to ask this early on. So what for somebody who gets involved with Wolfer Finance, what's in it for them? What can they expect? Why would somebody want to be a part of Wolfer Finance?
100%. So what you can expect is if you go to the Akemona page, there's, again, like I said earlier, because of the crowdfunding rules, there's only certain things that I can talk about, right? I can only address certain things. And technically, I have to also give this disclaimer. The page that you are looking at right now is called our Test the Waters page. It is not an investment contract. The investment contract is on the offerings page, and that page will not be live until Friday, May 24th. So what you are seeing on this screen right now, you need to make sure that you check the actual offering page and use the information that is on there. Now, what I can tell you, you will receive a digital security token. What is that digital security token? It is your share in the company. It is literally housed in your Web3 wallet of choice. What does that get you? That gets you access to our company. You are now a shareholder in our company, and you now have exposure to everything that we have exposure to. Okay. So think about, what are you buying when you're buying stock? What are you buying when you're buying shares in a company, right? I can't tell you expressly and implicitly what that is, but what I can say is that on the offering page, there is a graphic at the top, and then there's two graphics that follow it that'll tell you exactly what it is that you can expect from those, but I cannot explain it to you because the SEC wants me to make sure that you are doing your own due diligence and seeking your own information. What I can tell you, though, is that information is publicly available on that page, and you will receive through that digital security token exposure to our ETH validator nodes, our AVAX validator node, our FTM validator node, our Flux node, to our subsidiary company, Presend, that we own and operate, and the subsidiary companies that we could be potentially bringing out in the future, and all of the different validators and master nodes that we could also scale into in the future, and all of the mining operations that we could potentially do in the future. Now, all of these things obviously are based off of funding, due diligence, contracts. So none of them are absolutely 100% unequivocally guaranteed. But what I can say is that if you look at what I've done, right, it's pretty easy to see that we are able to do the master and validator nodes. Checkbox number one, right? If you're looking into the other things that we could potentially do in the future, it's not hard to infer that we would be able to handle that. I'm not saying that we are guaranteed able to do it because, again, these things are expensive, right? These things are expensive. The things that we have that are potentially coming in our future are like real estate investments, larger master and validator nodes. If you go and get a Cosmos node, it costs like $900,000, right? A Solana validator costs, hundreds of thousands of dollars if you want a decent sized one. Real estate costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. Getting a vested interest in a subsidiary oil company and drilling an oil well is going to cost you $500,000. Starting up a mining operation for cryptocurrency, even if it's flare gas, is going to cost you $500,000 to $1 million, $500,000 to $1 million bare minimum. So all of these things, although those are the things that we can do in the future, what I'm saying is look at my previous track record. I came out with a subsidiary company called Presend. It is now dually patent pending. The tech is invented and it is dually patent pending in 28 worldly jurisdictions. And that company exists and is operational. So all I can say is do with that information what you will and do your own due diligence, and go and check out my link tree. I've been the World Blockchain Summit keynote speaker in Dubai. I've gone and been a speaker at pitch competitions in Consensus. I've been on the Entrepreneur podcast. I've been in Men's Journal, International Business Times. I've been on Altcoin Daily. I've been on all of the big channels. I've been interviewed everywhere. Literally, go and check all of the things that I'm saying, and please verify it. Please fact check me. I want people to fact check me. Don't ever let me tell a lie. Don't let anyone tell a lie to you. So that's kind of what you can expect with Wolfer Finance and owning that digital security token.
Yeah, so that's very interesting because, like you said, due to SEC regulations, you can't technically talk about the offering details, the financials, but everybody go do your own research. Go to the Akemona website. Like he said, this right now is kind of like their test page before it goes live on Friday, May 24th. So when this video is published, this will most likely be live with the live Akemona page. Go here, read through everything, do your own research before you invest or buy anything in crypto, especially. And
it'll be a little bit different looking as well. So for example, you won't see any graphics that have Burl Core on them anymore. We created this page before Burl Core did what it did, right? Nobody wants to touch Burl Core at this point, and nobody will. It will not be a part of Wolfer Finance's plan moving forward or anything like that. We will literally only be doing, we've seen what happens when we let other people handle things, is all I can say. So what we will be doing is making sure that everything that we do is under the Wolfer Finance umbrella, where we have operational control of it. Yeah,
I think that's really important for reducing risk.
100%.
So yeah, I think I think that's really cool, and I know you can't say it, but I probably can because I'm just some guy on YouTube. But so it says here that there's going to be a 50% profit share. So token holders, which are basically digital tokenized shareholders in Wolfer Finance, will receive up to 50% net profit share from the tokens that they own. Now, how would those rewards be distributed to people? How would they access those? Because this is all new, right? This is a whole new kind of ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. So I can't actually talk about that because we've already talked about the company, and if I talk about terms of the offering. What I can say is that if you go to the offering page, it will tell you exactly everything that you need to know about all of those things. And it's very important for you to go in there and read these things and do your due diligence and do your research and understand what the mechanisms behind all of this are and what the, I guess, economics behind the company are as well. So yeah, just make sure that you go to the offering page and read those things. And I would have to push you guys to do that.
Okay. And that is a fair enough answer. I've done enough of these RegC offering interviews to know some of the rules. I do want to point out though that at the beginning of this, the like the original Wolfer Finance participants, they did recently get rewards that they had been very patiently waiting for quite a while.
Can also get into the Wolf for Finance Discord and talk with the community and ask them, because if you really want to know, ask the people that are already here, right? So if you have an inquiry, go into the community and say, hey, did this happen? And I'm sure that 10 or 12 people at least will be glad to tell you and give you their sentiments on it.
Okay, so I will put the links to the Wolfer Finance Discord server as well as the website here and the Akemona page. I'll put that all in the description of the video so you guys can find it easily. And Wolfer Finance does have a very tight-knit community. So go into that Discord and ask away. Everybody in there is very helpful.
They are the OGs. Think about if you have, say, this is just a comparison for reference. This is just simple math to illustrate a point. This is not an actual example. This is also not financial analysis or advice or investment advice. Say that you had a mechanism that you knew that could print you, say, 1% per month, right? And you had $5 million, right? And you put it all into that mechanism, and it on average gave you about 1% per month. If you had $5 million, you'd be making $50,000 a month. Now, say you had 5,000 people that brought in that $5 million, right? And that's on average $1,000 a piece, right? Something like that. So every single one of those people would then, if they split up that $50,000 that came in from the 1%, those people would then all each get what? $10, right? Now, say you had $10 million, but it was 10,000 people and you still printed 1%, right? You would be printing and getting back, again, hypothetical scenario, $100,000 per month, and you would divide that by 10,000 people, it's still $10. So if you have assets to deploy things into and they print consistent income, 1% is 1%, right? 10% is 10%. It doesn't matter if you're doing 10% on $5 or if you're doing 10% on $5 million, you're still making 10%. So just kind of like take that into account and let that be what it is for, whatever due diligence and things that you're doing. A second thing I kind of wanted to touch on is say that you bought, like, I know a lot of people are like, well, say if you make X amount of percent on Ethereum, right? I totally get it. A lot of the people are into the degen and the higher APRs and APYs, and I get that, and I understand it, and that's what a lot of DeFi crypto is built on.
Guilty is charged.
So what I will say is we are a centralized company. I am the end all be all for everything. And I am the CEO, and we have a corporation that is set up in Delaware. It has a board of directors. It has bylaws. It has a corporate charter. It has all of that, right? And this is a company. Okay. This is not just some dummy dev, clown creator, fake guru, whatever it is with a mask on behind a blank screen using a fake name, right? Yeah. This is Drew Wolfer and Drew Wolfer's company. Here's my point. If you were to say buy ETH at $1,000, so let's just say you buy ETH at $1,000. Again, hypothetical scenario, not financial analysis or advice. If you were to buy ETH at $1,000 and you got 32 ETH to collateralize into a node, and say you printed roughly 4% per year off of that Ethereum validator node, you're getting your 4% back in ETH. Okay, that's what you get paid in. Then you convert it to USDC if you want to. So if you put in $1,000 of your ETH was $1,000 and you got 32 of them, that would cost you like 32 grand, right? Per Ethereum validator node. Now, you would get back essentially $120 per month, right? Or No, it'd be like $1,000 per year, $1,200, call it 1,280, right? That's how much you would be making off of that. Now, but what if ETH 4Xs and goes up to $4,000 whenever you've got your cost basis at 1,000? Well, now your Ethereum validator node that you bought for $32,000 is worth $128,000, right? And also still is printing you 4%. Now, think about that. What is 4% of $128,000, right? That is literally $5,120. Now, if you bought your ETH and your validator was actually at $32,000, that is 16% instead of 4%. So through price appreciation of assets, you can actually, get higher APRs on some of these coins. Now, I have to caveat that and say these coins can also go down. Okay. And so can the APRs. So there is no guarantee of that. That is just a hypothetical scenario of understanding the mechanics of having and running master and validator nodes that don't have static prices. Okay. There's fluctuations. They go up, they go down. Okay. But understanding that you're in it for the long term is kind of the differentiating factor for a lot of people. So I just kind of wanted to iterate that.
Yeah, and do you and the team at Wolfer Finance have a strategy for securing or taking profits during bull runs like the one we are in now and is about to, in my opinion, not financial advice, but like we're about to just straight pop off, all right? Especially with the ETF rumors going on with ETH. My opinion, right? And we never know how things are gonna shake out exactly or how long they can hold things down before the trends continue. But you bought this at like the perfect timing when ETH was like $1,000, and now ETH's climbing very quickly back to 4,000 almost. It was like 3,700 today. Are you going to secure any of those profits, or are you just going to let this thing just keep accumulating these assets?
Yeah. Let's pop this graph off of the screen so I can tell them face to face so they know what time it is, right? Essentially, we do have a strategy, okay?
Yeah.
But I will say that strategy is not static. Similar to the prices of these coins, that strategy is not static. It is very fluid. So here's where I do pretty well. I understand the market cycles and understand where it is that I think we can potentially go. And if you pay attention to the money flow, to the volume, to the statistics and the technicals behind these assets, you'll probably know when we're reaching the top. Okay. So, in my opinion, I would rather be out at the top, okay, and take profits. And because I don't want to, and it's not necessarily to like make money. Of course, we're going to make money if we sell for higher than we bought them for 2 years ago, right? We know that. It's so that we can preserve the wealth and capital that we just accrued, right? And so, what I would rather do is take all of that out at the top, put it into business models like this cryptocurrency mining or like this oil field or like these real estate that are semi-liquid that can kind of bring you in other income, right? Because there's other opportunities in the world. And then once the market recedes back, you can pick those nodes up and start the whole cycle all over again. Are you going to be able to get ETH at 1,100 again? Maybe not. But if you sold it at 10K and it goes back down to 3 or 4, is that a good place? Yeah, probably. So yeah, I don't have like a set strategy. I will let the market determine and tell me when to do that. But what I can say is that when we hit the top, we definitely understand where we want to deploy those assets and when we want to get out.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a solid answer. The next 12 to 18 months are going to be pretty wild, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to also be and I'm going to be watching the market. And as we get nearer to the top over many like months and weeks, I'm going to be laddering out of my positions into cash and then looking to put it into other assets out of the crypto space and then and holding cash while the market then cools down again and we drift back down into bear market territory in a couple of years, and then I'll start the process over again.
Yep.
That's just how we do it, and that's how it's the trends are very, very clear in crypto, historically at least. Not, these are not forward-looking statements, yada yada yada. Do your own research. I'm just some dude on YouTube who runs an animal sanctuary, okay? But I love crypto, and it's changed my life, giving me opportunities and capital that I could have never imagined before. So
100%.
I think that's really a good idea to play the market cycles and then solidify those gains into other assets like real estate. And then you mentioned some other things. You said oil production and crypto mining, right?
Yep.
So do you want to talk a little bit about those other business segments and how you're planning on integrating them into Wolfer Finance?
Yeah. So I'll start off with this statement. I'm not here for a short time, right? I'm here to. There's a reason why this is called Wolfer Finance, right? And it's because I want this to be my legacy, my empire, what I can hand down to my 11-year-old son whenever he becomes of age, right? And if you know when that is, that's 7-8 years from now, right? Yeah. So I'm not planning to leave this anytime soon. Is my point. I've already been here for 2 years. I stuck through the mud of this for 2 years. We're about to get to a place where I think we're in a much better position, and the future is brighter for us, at least now, than our past was, because it was hard to get to where we are now. And now that we're here, I'm even more excited, and I want to continue it even further. So absolutely. I think that crypto mining is a good place to park cash. You have to be very cognizant of it. You don't want to wind up like hydro whales being unprofitable after your first year and a half when nobody's ROI'd, right? Because you didn't buy new miners, because you didn't calculate that into your business model, because you didn't have low enough electricity costs. So one thing I can say is that I will not be doing any cryptocurrency mining unless we have low power consumption costs from flare gas facilities. What I can say, and I have to give this disclaimer, I do have a property in my family that has oil wells on it, okay, that are pumping right now, and has flare gas infrastructure that is powering I'd say roughly around 50,000 square foot metal building warehouse that we could buy a massive generator, right? And hook up a cryptocurrency mining opportunity out there, pending due diligence, pending contracts, pending funding, right? So, and again, all of these things cost a lot of money. Just the generator by itself costs $250,000, $300,000. Just the miners itself, for you to do any real damage in this market, is going to cost $500,000, $750,000 for you to actually be able to get a decent money out of it. So if I can secure electricity costs for as close to 1 cent per kilowatt hour, because I have almost like like a family owned property that has flare gas on it, we're going to utilize it. But if we can't make it work, then we're not going to. We're not going to just throw our money and waste it. Now, secondarily, because of that property already having oil wells on it, the way that those oil wells are set up, they've been pumping for anywhere from like 10 to somewhere in the realm of 10 to 15 years, right? Oil wells usually pump anywhere from 20 to 30 years, majority of the time, if you have a good reservoir under it, okay? But what happens is they get buildup inside of them after so many years. So you either have to chemically treat it, which rarely works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it breaks up the blockage. Or you can move those wells to a less worrisome place of the reservoir, re-drill them, and then get them pumping again. And then you can just cap the other wells. That's kind of where this property is right now. And again, this is a family owned property. This isn't just some rando person that hit me up from Texas and was like, oh, hey, I know you can raise money. Can you invest in there's oil there? No, it's something that we know that we're comfortable with. And again, if it works, we'll go in. If it doesn't, we won't. We're not in the business of wasting time. We're not in the business of wasting money. We're not in the business of not taking very, very calculated risks. We're not just going to go into things willy-nilly. Secondarily, say that we don't have any business doing that, right? There's plenty of other places that you can do. You can have retail chains. You could literally franchise Starbucks and McDonald's if you want to. I'm not saying we're going to do that. You can go into real estate. You can do fix and flips. You can do actual property development of commercial or residential real estate. And that is something that through my network and through my CMO, Craig Emsley's network, we actually have access to 2 different places where we can do residential property development, where we can either, one, pay for it to be built and it takes about 9 months, and then you sell it for a profit to somebody that wants to buy it and didn't want to wait 9 months for it to be built, right? Or secondarily, you can own the house and rent it out, similar to what we do with our master and validator nodes. So there's a lot of things that we can do in our future, none of them of which are guaranteed. But what I can say is that there's places we can deploy capital if we have.
Okay. Yeah. That's really interesting that you've got oil wells in your family that are basically primed for exploring this option with. I've worked with quite a few flare gas mining companies, and I know a lot about this topic. It is what I consider to be the future for a while for sustainable energy. I mean, this is just energy that's going to waste, just being burnt off in the atmosphere. And if you buy a generator, like you said, and these are expensive, they are very expensive generators. But if you put a generator on it and the infrastructure in place, they can produce so much energy for nothing, essentially. I mean, if you can have them printing Bitcoin or other proof of work cryptocurrencies, they can pay themselves off for the cost of the generator and the infrastructure very quickly, because the gas or the electricity is essentially like 0 to 1 cent at that point. Especially if you own the property and the
that's
oil.
the key.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're probably paying 2 or 3 times that cost, and somebody's pocketing the difference. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's awesome, dude. I think that would be a great thing if you could pull it off.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts there, but I've seen and I know people who have done that and are very profitable now from it.
Yep. Yeah, we'll do our best, man. At the end of the day, that's all anyone can ask. I'm going to do my best to make the best decisions as to where we go, what we do, why, and when, and try to time it correctly. And yeah, but if people are looking to literally get rich tomorrow, Wolfer Finance is not the place for you. That is not something that exists in real life. And we've been building this company over 2 years, and we will continue to build this company over the next 2 years, 4 years, 10 years, however long it takes. And we're going to build something that actually matters, that can actually do something, and not just some random Ponzi scheme, pump and dump coin and I don't know, hypey project and things of that sort. What we have here is a real company built by real people that understand fundamentally business and economics.
Yeah, I can appreciate that, because I do enjoy some of these crazy hype projects that there's really no substance to them, or any real people that you can identify or anything, and they're so risky. They're just total gamble plays, in my opinion. And I've made money off of them, don't get me wrong, but I've been out here long enough. I've been burnt enough times to get some experience doing this, right? So don't do what I do, people, when it comes to the gamble plays. That's how I like to have fun out here, with disposable income. Okay.
Yeah.
That's money. If I lose it, that's okay. If it goes 5x in a week, hey, we're going out for non-alcoholic drinks. And
yeah, that was the funniest part about Dubai, is everybody else, they were partying and having fun, and Alex and I don't drink. And I was like, well, dude, at least we're in it together, right? Let's smoke some cigars.
Yeah, man, that's so funny. Everybody's Dubai is a crazy place for partying and stuff. And I'm just I'll take a green tea, please. And you're like, you want a cigar? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good.
Espresso and cigars, the key to eternal youth.
Man, those are some good times. Well, I think you've covered most of my questions about your business model for Wolfer Finance. I do notice here that you also offer some consulting services. So
Yeah.
you got like marketing, regulation as a services. You've got media management, business dev stuff. How is that incorporated into the Wolfer Finance business model, or is that just something that you do personally?
Yeah, so it's both actually. So this is like I kind of thought back to Presend and I was like, how did this become a Wolfer subsidiary, right? Well, my co-founder, Larry, he called me one day and he was like, "Hey man, you're doing a great job with Wolfer Finance. I trust you. I know you can build the business. I know you can go out and secure funding. I know that you can be the face of the business. You're, whatever, right?" And I was like, "Okay." So I leveraged my network and my marketing abilities and my entrepreneurial abilities to essentially get Wolfer a subsidiary company that came out. And then obviously I got equity in it too as the CEO. And so there's that disclaimer. So Wolfer owns Presend, and so do I, and so does Larry, and so does Craig, and like all the other, board members and stuff like that. But here's my point. I was like, okay, one of the easiest ways to scale this is to offer those services out to people. And now I've been through so much rigmarole, legal like corporate mergers and corporations filings, and like this form C that we're going to be filing literally probably tomorrow. And by the time that everybody watches this, it'll already have been filed. Marketing of like regulated, I guess, crowdfunding or regulation crowdfunding opportunities and things of that sort. I was just like, I could take my knowledge and help other people with this, and I could probably get Wolfer some new subsidiary companies potentially because of that. So yeah, I kind of just offered it out. It's nothing that we actually like advertise implicitly, and we haven't reached any deals with anybody at this point yet. I have consulted a couple of people or projects on like, things that they need to do and stuff like that. But that was kind of like personally on the side. But yeah, that's kind of how Wolfer Finance is looking at one of the ways that we could help bring in new subsidiary companies and kind of scale our portfolio. Because if you go and look at Presend, like, dude, it's honestly like I hate to say it like this because it sounds like conceited, but Presend is like legendary, man. It's like one of those once in a lifetime things that you receive as an entrepreneur. Like, how many people can say, like, I have a dually patent pending technology company? Like, it's just not, it's like one in a million. I'm not saying it's one in a million, like people need to invest in it. I'm saying from an entrepreneurial perspective, I was like, this is really cool. I got to get involved in this. So those like types of things are the things that could make me find the new Presend, right?
Yeah. So Presend is actually partially owned by Wolfer Finance. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody who participates in the CF, the crowdfunding equity offering. This is an equity offering, right? A crowdfunding equity
Yeah.
offering.
Yep.
They will essentially own equity and will be part owners legally of Presend, right?
Yeah, like technically, yeah, because if you own like shares in Wolfer and Wolfer owns shares in Presend from a operational level, yeah, technically you have exposure to Presend as well.
Awesome. So if Presend gets bought out someday by some huge like company or something like that for a crazy amount of money, there would be benefits seen on the Wolfer Finance side.
Dude, on that would be so awesome. That would be so awesome. But yes, they're like in that scenario. Obviously, we're not guaranteeing anything like that'll happen. I'm not soliciting people to do that. But yeah, dude, that would be an awesome thing that would happen. And in that scenario, yeah, the Wolfer Finance people would benefit from that by owning Wolfer because Wolfer owns Presend. Yeah.
Very cool. Another question along the same lines as that. Do you in your long-term strategy have an exit strategy for Wolfer Finance? Do you ever plan on selling it or taking it public or anything like that?
I don't want to take it public. There's just a lot of I uh, I don't know. I guess I could see at the time, like, I don't know, I'm kind of tired right now of like talking to lawyers and legal stuff. So I
Yeah.
think like maybe in 5 years I'll feel differently and I'll be like, yeah, and you know what? I haven't had a challenge in a while. Maybe I'll take it public, right? but I have no plans to take it public. I'd like to keep it as a privately held company, but not really a technical exit strategy. And the reason is because I want this to be like a very and I pitched this as such, right? A long-term investment for people, something that we could build continually over a lot of years. And if you think about it, like from an equity perspective, if we have all these subsidiary companies that we own equity in, even if we were to liquidate our master notes at the top, validator notes at the top, we would probably put it into equity opportunities like that of subsidiary companies with operational control over those companies. So, in my opinion, probably not necessarily like an exit strategy, more of a pass it off onto the next generation strategy, per se. But, obviously, I think everybody has their walk away number. I don't necessarily know what mine is, but it's not even close to where we are. So I would say let's keep this bad boy rolling, man. That we just got through all of the good or the crazy stuff. So I would like to try and get to some good stuff,
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a long-term strategy.
Yeah.
You're looking at this as a long-term cash flow generating company.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I just went to war for 2 years to try to build this thing, man. On so many fronts. Like, yeah, I won't be exiting it anytime soon.
understandable. Yeah, I mean it's even got your name in it, so it's kind of like
Yeah.
legacy, right? So I understand
Yeah.
there's probably a lot of pride
Yeah.
that behind it.
There is, yeah, and it's trademarked. Like the Wolfer logo and name, it's all trademarked. Like you don't buy trademarks if you're not going to stay in it for a while. It takes, if anybody knows anything about trademarks, it takes over a year to just even get a trademark, right? It's so ridiculous. My name is trademarked. Wolfer Finance is trademarked. The logo's trademarked. Presend is trademarked. Presend's logo is trademarked. Like it takes forever to get those things. But if that kind of gives you any understanding of like where I'm trying for this to go, then hopefully you can kind of read between the lines on that.
Yeah, very very cool.
Yeah.
Now I know this might be a tenuous question based on regulatory stuff, but for folks who got into Wolfer early on or anything, do you have any project? I know I can't even I shouldn't even say projections, but do you have any idea of you know like a timeline for when they'll be very comfortable?
Yeah. So I can kind of touch on that. If you look at, I can't give like a real number, timeline, projection, or anything. What I can do is like kind of allow people to understand the scenario, right? So what we're investing in as digital security token holders, right? If you're coming into Wolfer Finance, you're investing in a very long-term company that's building other companies, that is collateralizing its assets into some of the what I would consider, and this is just my opinion, the top tier type of assets that blockchain offers, right? Which are the validator and master nodes that are very expensive. But here's the thing, with top tier assets, you don't print 70 million% every year. You're printing 4%, 7%, 12, 20% a year, right? So it's really hard to gauge that because as I kind of laid out in that example earlier, things can go down first off, and there's tokenomics aspects. Like, for example, FTM literally had a vote. All of the validators had to vote, and they voted to take the APR down for the validators every year. So, like, something like that can happen, and then your APR is going down, right? But the hopes of them doing that is your APR goes down, but the price goes up because there's less coins coming in on the market every single day, right? Kind of like similar to the Bitcoin halving. But due to the fact that it can go down, but it can also go up, it's really hard to gauge those. But what I can say is that if we get our assets at advantageous prices, we can be doing it exponentially better than if we just buy them at the top, right?
Yeah. So that makes total sense.
At the end of the day, everybody that's already here, you're going to continue participating. Okay. Anybody that comes in after those people, you are also going to be continuing to participate. And we're all here for the same reason. And what we'll do is we'll go out and execute to make sure that that reason is a good reason.
Okay, good to know. So
We're going to support the people that supported us and got us here. And we're also going to support the people that get us further too. Right. And that's the way I always pitch it is like, the people that are already here, you're the family that chose me. And I appreciate that. And the people that come in the future, you're also the family that chose me. And I appreciate that. And I'm going to, just as hard as I rode for the people that are already here, I'm going to ride for the people that come in during the crowdfund as well. But I will absolutely, it's not in my DNA. I'm Italian for a reason, right? I will never, ever forget the people that got me here because I'm not self-made. No one is self-made. There's 100,000 people that help you get where you're at, even if it's just a small thing that they do,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like I will absolutely and unequivocally never forget any of my people ever. None of you will ever be left behind.
All right, good to know. And I can echo those sentiments because I run a public charity that's supported by literally almost 100,000 people across all my socials. And it's a when something is bigger than you and you're a part of it, it really changes.
Humbling.
Yeah, it's humbling. It's humbling. And I
Yeah.
think for certain people, it really activates some of those core values. So for some other people, sociopaths and stuff that I've seen out here, though, I'm not talking about them, all right? But I'm talking about normal people, all right? like normal folks.
Yep.
You know,
Something like that, you'll see who that person truly is.
yeah, it makes their true character come out. Truly, it does.
100%. And so does money. And so does money. So watch for the people. Because trust me, like Wolver Finances, you can go check out the treasury page. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to get in trouble. Just go check out the treasury page. You'll probably understand where I'm going with it. My point is that find people that money doesn't matter to them. Okay. And money is not their motivator. Because at the end of the day, like I understand that money is a medium to get you where you're going. But in my opinion, the thing that drives me and motivates me the most is freedom. I want freedom. And I want to be able to look my wife, my kid in the eye and know that they respect me. And then I want to be able to look myself in the mirror every morning and know that I respect myself, and that I'm doing everything that I can to do right by every single person, whether they're my chosen family, my wife and kid, or, my blood family, or my family that chose me, like all the people that follow me on YouTube, people like you, people like all of my investors and stuff like that, people that come in the crowdfund. So at the end of the day, just understand that when people see like the amount of money coming in on some of these crypto projects, you'll truly understand and know who that person is. And one thing I can say is I've been here doing this for 2 years, and you guys know who I am, and you can see how I operate. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's good that you're a crypto YouTuber too, because you're probably like me, where you get folks approaching you and offering to throw absurd amounts of money at you. If you have any significant influence in this space, people they will throw crazy amounts of money at you, but oftentimes if it's something's too good to be true, it often is, and you really have to be like, do I want to do business with this person? Who are they? Why are they behind a cartoon character, the fake name? And why do they have so much money? So that's why I appreciate doing business with folks like you. Your full name is on the screen. Your face is right there. I've known you for 3 years personally. Those are all things that I look for when I'm looking to do business or participate in something out here. I look for a certain level of trust.
Yeah. Oh, dude, in public service announcement to all the scammers that hit me up and asked me to do promotion, just because Alex said that we're not going to do it, please don't stop hitting me up, because I promise you, I value and appreciate the fact that you guys hit me up, because it gives me free content that I don't have to go out and try and search to find you. You just drop in my inbox and I'm like, cool, we got a video. And then I just drop a video on you for free and literally expose your scam and your Ponzi. And I love it.
They're going to pull the whole any attention is good attention and maybe.
Bro. Yeah. So I actually am doing this right now. So there's this one company, they've been really annoying me. They email me all the time. They try to get me in Telegram, and it's called Cryptonomy. And I was like, all right, you've emailed me too many times. Now I'm looking into you. Found him, looked into him, total scam. I'm about to air him out. It's going to get bad for him.
Oh snap! Hey, Cryptonomy, you owe me for that plug there on my channel. I'm just kidding.
Do not invest in Cryptonomy. Like, go look at the Trustpilot reviews before you do anything, please.
Man,
Funny.
there's so many like that. So
100%.
I try, and the thing is, like, we try our best to filter these
Yeah.
out. And I've had plenty of people come on and show their face and their name, even, and just be brazen about it. Like, you know, we've seen like the whole Seifu thing and like some other
Yeah.
folks, like, so it's a crazy space. And it's really like a lot of us keep a tight circle out here and kind of keep each other in the loop on like what seems legit and what does not. So
100%.
it's you're taking it to the next step though, doing an SEC Reg CF offering, and you know, going down the regulatory path with that, because I don't know if you guys have read a form, a Reg C form. It is very, very boring. It is. I have read like 3 or 4 of them now at least, and it's like some of them are like 50 pages of just like the most dreary financials and like
It is not fun. It's not fun. That's why on our offering page, like, I'm putting graphics, I'm putting things to like actually make it fun, interactive, look
Yeah.
pretty, aesthetically pleasing, things of that sort. But man, at the end of the day, you put all the information in there. You hope that everybody reads it and understands exactly what it is that they're doing. And yeah, I mean, like, literally, yeah, I wouldn't even be doing this if I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to stay in this company for the next 2 years. It's like, then why would you jump through all the hoops that you just went through, right? I wouldn't, because it would just be a waste of time. So at the end of the day, that's, I guess, read between the lines and understand who I am fundamentally as a person. And then go do your research on what it is that I do. And then you can make an informed decision, right? Because again, companies are people. There's people that run those companies. Understand who those people are.
Absolutely. And even Akemona that you're working with
Yeah.
to facilitate the crowdfunding campaign, in order for a company to facilitate a Reg C or Reg CF crowdfunding campaign, I do believe they have to be a FINRA approved broker. Is Akemona FINRA approved?
Yeah. Regulatory authority and a member of the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, which is FINRA. But is neither a broker dealer nor investment advisor. So there's a difference in between a broker dealer and a crowdfunding platform. So just understand that they do still have licenses, but broker dealers have that's almost like the people that can sell you stock.
So that's good.
Yeah.
FINRA is another regulatory agency and compliance thing that you don't see normally in the crypto space, right? So you don't normally hear the word FINRA when we're talking about
People
crypto.
run for the hills when they hear those alphabets coming out, man.
And you've got something like Akemona, which is a crowdfunding platform, FINRA approved. This is an SEC Form C crowdfunding offering. So you literally have the entire offering in a document. It is a legal document. You can go read this. So when you submit that, it should be available on the Akemona website. I'm sure it'll be on the Wolfer Finance website too. You can find it in probably the Edgar database with the SEC when it's filed. Go look it up, read through it. If you're going to put a significant amount of money into anything like this, I just read it. I mean, why wouldn't you? First, read their Akemona investor page. It'll be the easiest way to digest the information, but then go read through the actual filing. You will learn so much about the business you're investing in, and it's an educational experience. I always recommend everybody to do this. It can be a very boring read, but it can be very enlightening too.
100%.
So that I kind of want to leave with that. Do your own research, everybody. Check out Wolfer Finance at wolfer.finance. And I will be hopefully dropping this video on Friday, May 24th, when they launch the crowdfunding campaign on the Akemona platform. I'll have all the links in the description. Drew, do you want to say anything else before we wrap this up?
No, man, I think we covered everything, man, and I just appreciate the opportunity to come on the channel. Like I said in the very early going, you do a lot for me. You did a lot for a lot of people in your entire life. I think your heart's always in the right place, dude. You're doing really great things. I'm super happy and Jack that you have such success on your channel. And man, that's all I can say is humble appreciation to everybody that showed up and humble appreciation to Alex. And hopefully everything's going good down there. Well, I guess you're technically kind of up there from me because I'm in a little southern part of Florida than you. But hopefully everything's going good on the farm and going well with the family, man.
Thank you so much, Drew. I really appreciate all that. And yeah, where can people find you if they want to find you and Wolfer? Where should they go?
Yeah, so you can go to my link tree. It's literally linktree/Drew Wolfer. You can literally Google my name. You will find everything about me. It's kind of ridiculous. And I feel ridiculous when I tell people to Google me still. It's still weird telling people that.
Yeah.
You can also find all of my stuff on the Wolfer Finance page. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me a lot of different places. LinkedIn. Everything is just /Drew Wolfer, man. YouTube @Drew Wolfer. LinkedIn, Drew Wolfer. Linktree, Drew Wolfer. Twitter, Drew Wolfer. Like Drew, I think it's actually Drew_Wolfer there or something. But same difference.
Okay, good to know. And I'll put all the links to that stuff in the description of the video and in the comments. Also, you will be able to find all of the links to this in the YaBonks Discord server. If you guys aren't already a member, it's discord.gg/YaBonks. We're about 1,000 members strong in there. And I will make a channel for Wolfer Finance. And feel free to talk in there, have discussions about it, share information and your thoughts on it. I'll have all the links to the Akemona page and the Wolfer Finance website. And I'll be in there. If you have any questions, just ping me in the Wolfer Finance channel of the YaBonks Discord server. So Drew, thank you so much for taking the time to put this together. I wish you all the success and the whole Wolfer Finance community. Thanks again. See you later, everybody.